Hello, my name is Ava, and today I want to tell you a story that I think you will enjoy. It's about a clever woman who lived in a small town in the United States. Her story is full of surprises, kindness, and a lot of wisdom. As you read this, I hope you not only find it interesting but also feel inspired by her strength and creativity. In this town, everyone knew Sarah. She wasn't rich or famous, but people always talked about how smart she was. Sarah didn't go to a big school or have fancy degrees, but she knew how to solve problems in the most simple and clever ways. She had a bright smile and kind eyes, and even though she didn't have much money, she was always happy and willing to help others. One day, Sarah woke up to find her small house in need of repair. The roof was leaking, and there were cracks in the walls. She didn't have enough money to hire someone to fix it, but she didn't let that stop her. Instead, she thought hard about how she could solve this problem without spending a lot of money. Sarah remembered that she once helped her neighbor, Mr. Williams, fix his car. She thought maybe he could help her in return. So, she walked over to his house with a smile and asked if he knew anyone who could help with the repairs. Mr. Williams was happy to see Sarah and listen to her problem. "You're always helping others, Sarah. I think I can help you with this," he called his friend Mike, who was a carpenter. Mike agreed to help Sarah fix her roof in exchange for her baking skills. Sarah was known for making the best pies in town, and so, with a few pies and a big smile, Sarah's roof was fixed without her spending a single dollar. But the story doesn't end here. Sarah's cleverness didn't just help her, it helped the whole town. There was a time when the town was going through a tough period. Businesses were closing, and people were losing their jobs. Everyone was worried about how they were going to pay their bills and take care of their families. One day, at a town meeting, Sarah stood up and spoke. "I think we can help each other," she said with a calm voice. "We may not have a lot of money, but we all have skills. We can trade what we know how to do for things we need." People listened closely to Sarah's words. At first, some were unsure. How could they survive without money? But Sarah's idea began to spread. One by one, people started offering their skills and time in exchange for goods and services. Mary, who owned a small clothing shop, started trading clothes for food. John, a mechanic, fixed people's cars in exchange for fresh vegetables from the local farmers. The town came alive again. People were smiling, working together, and helping each other. And it was all thanks to Sarah's clever thinking. As the weeks went by, the town became stronger than ever. People realized that while money was important, it wasn't the only thing that made life good. Friendship, kindness, and sharing skills made their town a better place to live. Sarah became a local hero, though she never sought fame or praise. She was just happy to see her neighbors working together and helping each other. One day, while Sarah was walking through the town, she saw a little girl sitting alone and crying. The girl's name was Emma, and she had lost her favorite doll. Sarah knelt down beside her and gently asked, "Why are you crying, sweetie?" "I lost my doll, and I can't find it anywhere," Emma replied between sobs. Sarah thought for a moment. Instead of searching the entire town for the doll, she decided to be clever once again. "Let's make you a new doll," Sarah suggested. "One that's even more special because we'll make it together." Emma looked up with hope in her eyes. Together, Sarah and Emma gathered old cloth and buttons from Sarah's house. They sewed and stuffed the doll, and soon enough, Emma had a new doll in her hands. "This is the best doll ever," Emma exclaimed, her tears now replaced with a big smile. Sarah didn't just fix things with her hands, she mended hearts, too. She taught people that being clever isn't just about being smart, it's about using what you have to make things better for yourself and for others. As time went on, Sarah's cleverness was known far and wide. People came from other towns to meet her, hoping to learn how to be resourceful and wise like her. And Sarah, being the kind person she was, shared everything she knew. "It's not about what you have," she would say. "It's about what you do with what you have." One of the best things about Sarah was that she always had little tips and advice for anyone who needed help. "Always think before you act," she would tell people. "Sometimes the solution is right in front of you, but you need to be calm to see it." She also liked to remind people that kindness goes a long way. "If you help someone today," she said, "you'll find that someone will help you when you need it the most." There's a special memory that people in the town still talk about to this day. It was during a winter storm, the worst one anyone had seen in years. Snow piled up high, and many people were stuck in their homes, cold and without enough food. Sarah knew something had to be done. She couldn't stand by while her neighbors were in trouble. But how could she help everyone when she didn't have much herself? That's when Sarah came up with another clever idea. She gathered everyone who could leave their homes safely and started a snow kitchen right in the middle of the town square. People brought what little food they had, and together they made hot soups and stews. It wasn't much, but it was enough to share. Everyone who needed food came to the snow kitchen, and for the rest of the storm, nobody in the town went hungry. It was another one of Sarah's simple yet brilliant solutions. Sarah's life was full of moments like these moments where she found ways to make the world a little brighter and better. She wasn't wealthy in the traditional sense, but her heart was rich with kindness, and her mind was always working on new ideas. One of the things that made Sarah so special was that she never kept her wisdom to herself. She loved sharing stories and lessons from her life. Life is like a puzzle, she once told a group of children who were visiting her. Sometimes, the pieces don't seem to fit, but if you look at them from a different angle, you'll find a way to make it work. People in the town always felt comfortable talking to Sarah. Whether it was a big problem or a small one, she listened carefully and offered her advice with a gentle smile. She wasn't bossy or pushy, she simply helped people see things in a new light. "You already know the answer," she would often say. "You just need to believe in yourself and trust your instincts." And that's one of the biggest lessons that Sarah taught everyone, to trust in themselves. She believed that everyone had the ability to be clever and resourceful, just like her. All they had to do was be patient, think carefully, and be kind to others along the way. As the years went by, Sarah's influence grew. Even people from outside the town came to visit her, hoping to learn how to solve their own problems in clever ways. And Sarah, as always, was happy to help. She didn't ask for anything in return because she believed that the true reward was seeing people smile and thrive. Sarah's story is one that has been passed down from generation to generation. People still talk about her clever ideas, her kindness, and the way she brought the town together during difficult times. Some say that the spirit of Sarah lives on in the town, in the way people continue to help each other and solve problems with creativity and heart. And now, as I finish telling you this story, I hope you take something from it. Maybe it's a lesson about how to solve problems in your own life. Or maybe it's just a reminder that kindness and cleverness can change the world, one small step at a time. Sarah's legacy continued long after her days in the town. Though she lived a humble life, the wisdom she shared became the foundation for how the community grew stronger over time. It wasn't about grand gestures or monumental achievements, it was about the little things, like how Sarah always knew just the right thing to say, or how she would turn a simple task into a moment of learning. One story that people always loved to tell about Sarah was the time she helped a young boy named Jack. Jack was known around town for being a bit mischievous. He wasn't a bad kid, but he often found himself in trouble, mainly because he acted before thinking things through. One day, Jack accidentally knocked over a display of fruit at the town market. The fruit spilled everywhere, and the vendor, Mrs. Green, was not happy. Jack, feeling ashamed, stood frozen as Mrs. Green scolded him. Sarah happened to be walking by and noticed the commotion. She didn't scold Jack or make him feel worse. Instead, she walked over and gently put a hand on his shoulder. "Let's pick these up together," she said softly. Jack, relieved, quickly bent down to gather the fruit. Sarah worked alongside him, and once everything was back in place, she looked at him with her usual kind smile. "Next time, slow down a bit, Jack. Sometimes when we rush, we make things harder for ourselves and others." Jack nodded, taking in her words. It wasn't just the fact that Sarah helped him clean up that stuck with him. It was the way she didn't make him feel small or foolish. Instead, she gave him a simple, valuable lesson about patience. From that day forward, Jack found himself thinking twice before acting, and whenever he felt the urge to rush, he would remember Sarah's gentle advice. That was the thing about Sarah, her words stayed with people long after she spoke them. Another fond memory that the town held on to was how Sarah once helped a group of children learn about the importance of teamwork. There was a school project where the kids had to build a small model of the town. They were excited at first, but soon disagreements broke out about how to design the model. Each child wanted to do things their own way, and before long, the project fell apart. The teacher, Miss Taylor, asked Sarah to come in and talk to the children, hoping her wisdom could help them see the bigger picture. Sarah arrived with her usual calm presence and sat with the children. She didn't lecture them. Instead, she listened as each child explained their ideas and frustrations. "Everyone's idea is good," she said after they finished speaking. "But if you each work alone, you won't have enough hands or time to finish the project. What if we combine the best parts of each idea? Let's see how we can make it all fit together." The children hesitated at first, unsure how to blend their ideas. But with Sarah's guidance, they began to see how different parts of their designs could complement each other. One child's idea for the park was used, another's plan for the town square was included, and a third child's design for the roads tied everything together. By the end of the day, the children were not only proud of their model, but also understood that working together made the project better than if they had worked alone. Sarah's lesson on teamwork stayed with those children as they grew up. Many of them went on to become leaders in the town, always remembering that cooperation and compromise were key to building something great. As Sarah grew older, people often came to visit her for advice. She didn't have a big house or fancy possessions, but her small home was always filled with warmth, laughter, and the smell of freshly baked pies. Her door was always open, and her heart was always ready to listen. One winter evening, a young woman named Lily came to Sarah's house, feeling lost and unsure about her future. Lily had recently finished school and wasn't sure what to do next. She had so many interests, but couldn't decide which path to follow. Should she become a teacher, or maybe start her own business? The pressure of making the right choice weighed heavily on her. Sarah invited Lily to sit by the fireplace and handed her a cup of hot tea. "I think you're worrying too much about making the perfect choice," Sarah said gently. "The truth is, there's no one right path. Life is like a river. Sometimes it flows smoothly, and other times it changes direction. The important thing is to start moving." Once you're on your way, you'll find your direction. Lily listened closely, feeling the weight on her shoulders begin to lift. But what if I make a mistake? She asked. Sarah smiled warmly. Mistakes are just part of the journey. They teach you what works and what doesn't. Don't be afraid to try new things. If one path doesn't feel right, you can always adjust and try another. With those simple words, Lily felt a sense of clarity. She realized that she didn't have to have everything figured out right away. What mattered was taking the first step and trusting that she would find her way, just as Sarah had said. As the years passed, Sarah's health began to decline. The town, knowing how much she had given them, rallied around her just as she had always done for them. People took turns bringing her food, helping with chores, and sitting with her to keep her company. They told her stories of how her advice had changed their lives, reminding her of the countless ways she had touched the hearts of so many. One of Sarah's last visitors was a young girl named Mia. Mia was shy and often kept to herself, but she admired Sarah from afar. She had heard all the stories about Sarah's cleverness and kindness, and had always wished to be like her. When Mia finally gathered the courage to visit, she found Sarah sitting in her favorite chair by the window, looking out at the town she loved so much. "Hello, Miss Sarah," Mia said quietly. Sarah turned to her with a gentle smile. "Hello, Mia. I've been waiting for you." Mia was surprised. "You were waiting for me?" Sarah nodded. "I knew you'd come when you were ready." Mia felt a warmth in her heart, knowing that Sarah had noticed her all along. "I want to be clever like you, Miss Sarah. I want to help people the way you do." Sarah reached out and took Mia's hand. "You already have the ability to be clever, Mia. It's not about knowing everything, it's about being thoughtful, kind, and seeing the possibilities in every situation. You'll find your own way to help people. And when you do, it will be just as special." Those were some of the last words Sarah ever spoke, but they stayed with Mia for the rest of her life. And just as Sarah had predicted, Mia went on to become a wise and caring person, helping others with her own cleverness and heart. When Sarah passed away, the entire town gathered to celebrate her life. They didn't mourn her passing with sadness, but with gratitude for all the love and wisdom she had given them. People shared stories of how Sarah had touched their lives, and they laughed and cried together, remembering the woman who had always been there for them. In the years that followed, the town continued to thrive, with Sarah's lessons guiding them in everything they did. They knew that even though Sarah was no longer with them, her spirit lived on in every act of kindness, every clever solution to a problem, and every moment of compassion. Sarah had shown them that being clever wasn't just about solving problems, it was about using what you had to make the world a little better. one small step at a time. And in doing so, she left behind a legacy of love, wisdom, and a town that would always remember the clever woman who had changed their lives forever.